Yo, Saturday edition post-game live. Got a couple things to talk about today. We got Knicks Summer League going on today. The Knicks are back. We got 5 trade options for Courtney Lee and a potential trade debate that's been going on involving another Knicks starter. So let's get into it. Post-game live. Happy Saturday, people. Hope everything is going well. CP here. My man Jay Ellis on the other side. Jay Ellis, what's going on, man? Happy Saturday, bro. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. It's Saturday. I'm going to see some Knicks basketball today.
Summer League. The Knicks are back. The Knicks are back.
Today is a good day.
Today's a good day, man. Today's a good day. Just run through the house rules real quick. Number one, if this is your first time on the channel, you're a diehard Knicks fan, hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Secondly, salute to everybody watching on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. Salute to the YouTube chat. How's everybody doing? Thirdly, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a new fan poll up on the top right. The top right, it looks like a lowercase I. Click on the lowercase I and hit that fan poll. The question of the day is, which of the players in Summer League are you most looking forward to seeing? So just participate in that fan poll, and we'll go through the results at the end of the stream. Today, we got the third screen popping. Once again, a distinguished guest is joining the show. Welcome, my guy, Jonathan Macri from the Knicks Wall, esteemed writer. You can find him on Twitter, Jonathan Macri. What's going on, man? Welcome to the third screen, man.
What's going on, guys? Man, I've seen the third screen many times. I've been wondering when was I going to get my invite, and to finally have it happen today on the eve of the first Knicks Summer League game, I have to say I'm honored, pleased to be on. It's amazing to me that we're sitting here talking Knicks basketball, and we're excited to be doing so. And we're like 3 months removed from when they played their last regular season game, and it's just as exciting now as it was then. So yeah, I'm pumped.
Pumped to be pumped for Summer League.
Yes.
Yo, this is like the first Summer League. I'm really excited, man.
Yes, man.
It's a lot of prospects, a lot of young guys. This is the first real youth movement that I've seen in a long time, man. So I'm really looking forward to it. You know what I mean?
Same here, man.
Yeah,
all the new guys coming up. Actually, I'm excited to see Frank in Summer League. I want to see what he's gonna do. There's all these little question marks that we have unanswered, but it's gonna be exciting to see how Fizz helped train these guys up and play in Summer League. I'm excited.
Yeah,
man. I'm excited.
True
I know
indeed.
we're supposed to talk about it later, so I'm gonna try to hold up all the stuff I want to say until later.
It's tough
Facts,
though,
man.
right? You want to talk
It's
about
tough.
it.
It's tough, man. So let's kick off the first topic of the day. And yesterday it was announced by Shams, Woj, and the likes that KO signed to the evil rival, former rival, not really rival anymore, but the Indiana Pacers for 1 year, $4.5 million. Right? I mean, that's about a $250,000 extra that he left off the table for the Knicks. Opted out of that deal. I mean, I guess my whole thing is I'm just confused on. I thought he was looking for a multi-year deal. I thought he earned it. I thought he had a great year for us last year. I was in the KO camp. I was definitely a KO fan. What happened though? Well, I mean, what do you guys think happened? Jay Macri, kick us off, man. What's your reaction to the KO signing with the Pacers?
So I think it's interesting because there was about a week ago there was a little leak not a leak, I don't know what you want to call it, but I think it was Stephen Bondi with the Daily News snuck in to one of his reports that Kyle O'Quinn wasn't everything that he has often been made out to be.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that.
And, I have a feeling that's one of those things that you put out there as a team if you are trying to soften the blow.
True.
Not bringing a guy back who very well the fan base likes a lot.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I was one of the guys who I loved Kyle O'Quinn. I think,
too, man.
I wrote a piece for the Knicks Wall a few months ago in which I actually argued that they should seriously consider bringing him back on a multi-year deal, as much as that could potentially compromise cap space for next summer, because I thought, one thing the Knicks have not had in a long time is continuity. Guys that stay from year to year to year. And I know, okay, they've sucked for a long time and you don't necessarily want continuity. But with Kyle O'Quinn, I feel like he was the exception because he was seemed like such a team first guy. I thought he seemed like a great supporter of his fellow Knicks. And also on the basketball floor, I mean, the dude was good. Yeah. I mean, he never got a lot of time, but as far as you look at the best passing big men in the league, his assist rate combined with his shooting and rebounding rates were right up there with some of the games, like a Jokic or, even like a Pau Gasol. I think the dude could play. So I feel badly that he's not going to be back. As far as ultimately why they decided not to bring him back, I think maybe it has to do with, they drafted Mitchell Robinson. I think that probably has something to do with it. And you still got Cantor and you still got Noah on the roster. So what do you guys think?
Jay Ellis, go ahead. What's your take on it?
Why didn't I don't know. I thought maybe he opted out thinking he was getting multi-years.
Definitely.
Yeah, you think maybe he miscalculated the market?
Yeah, and the market was tighter than everybody thought. And then I read something this morning that said the Knicks didn't really contact him. But I feel like maybe if they did contact him, maybe there was a chance he would have re-signed, knowing that the market wasn't really what he thought it was going to be this season. And he just ended up grabbing the first thing. The first thing smoking. He saw his man Doug McDermott over there in Indiana. He was like, "Well, there's something
Doug
familiar."
McBuckets, the KO McBuckets connection is back, man.
Exactly. He started dreaming about backdoor cuts again. He was like, "Well, I'm not in New York, so I might as well get something familiar somewhere. Sign over there with McBuckets." That's what I'm thinking.
It was interesting. I think maybe I saw something interesting. Somebody had mentioned maybe when Golden State went for Boogie Cousins, maybe that took KO out of the equation. Maybe he was gunning for them.
Yeah, because they were a favorite. I mean, they were looking at him since last season.
Yeah,
I know on a trade deadline
with them too. I think he would have been very good in Golden State.
I thought he would have been. Yeah, I thought he would have fit in well. I thought he would have been an upgrade over David West.
Oh, totally. And I think his range. I mean, for me, anytime I saw a KO shoot a 15, 16 footer, I felt like it was going in.
Yeah.
His true shooting last year was like 62%, solid. I thought he would probably end up there on a 1-year deal. And I think it's an interesting fit with Indiana because, Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis, both really good players. They're both centers in the modern game. So I don't know how much playing time is he going to get there. It remains to be seen.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he wanted to go to a playoff team. Maybe to get his playoff feet wet. But it's interesting. It's just interesting to lose him to the same amount that, he could have just opted in for.
What's interesting to me is the Knicks said yesterday, or at least David Fizdale said yesterday, they're looking for a veteran to bring in that's not going to disrupt this youthful core and the culture. And I'm just like,
maybe that was a shot at KO again?
I'm like, we know a guy.
Right. Man,
I don't understand. And if you look at the construction of our roster, the most uncertainty we have right now is in that power forward center position. Like Mitchell Robinson, maybe he does turn out to be something, but we really don't have a guy who can give you rebounds outside the canter and can play defense.
I think
at the same time. I mean, I guess Noah is there, but
but you know what? I think if you pay careful attention to the signals coming out of the front office and from Fizz, they're constantly talking up, pretty much every guy on this roster, with the exception of a few. Noah and Lee have not been mentioned. Well, other than, when they asked about Noah, I think at the initial press conference, maybe to introduce Fizz, he said the politically correct answer, which is, we'll welcome anybody back. And what else was he going to say? I think this may be part of a concerted effort to kind of start with a clean slate. Other than the young kids that are here, I think they may want to really take all of the old veteran voices that were in this locker room and almost try to start from scratch.
Start over. It seems so.
As much as possible. That's why, I mean, and again, I'm not an advocate of waiving and stretching Noah after September 1st because I think there's no need to. But again, this is one of those things where, sports aren't played on paper. Sports are not black and white. we don't know. I mean, I've never played in the NBA. I've never coached in the NBA. We don't know the effect that one guy or one sour apple could have in a locker room.
Yeah.
And is Fizz worrying about Noah being that guy? I don't know that. Maybe he is, and maybe KO kind of the same jam. Even though he was clearly a good guy and a good teammate.
Yeah, that one really caught me off guard. And even Noah and Hornacek last year caught me off guard. To be honest with you, so. There could be something to it. I don't know. Because even when it came out that Noah and Hornacek got into it and Hornacek pushed him, and no one really refuted that claim. You know what I mean? No one never refuted it. I don't think Hornacek refuted it.
No.
So it's true. I mean, it's true. And let's be honest, Noah was in Chicago and he wasn't getting playing time in Chicago. He had beef with his coach in Chicago as well. So you kind of figured he's not getting playing time in New York. Eventually, he's going to, kind of react. And I felt like he was trying to hold all that in for the betterment of the team because it was kind of preaching togetherness in the beginning of the season. But then when you're losing, all that togetherness goes out the window. Pretty much.
Well put.
True indeed. Well, good luck to KO, man. You will be missed. At least on my end, like I said, I thought KO was a solid backup. I thought he presented everything that you needed in a solid backup big. He rebounded, he blocked shots, he was a decent passer. Willing, smart leader on the court, but
I wanted to see KO shoot threes under Fizz.
yeah, man. So salute to KO. Other free agent news, the Walking Bucket. It's been reported that the Walking Bucket is not happy that the Knicks have not reached out to him. What was it? Beasley, the Walking Bucket, man. It's the enigma that is Michael Beasley. So yesterday, Knicks Central had posted the same reports that the Walking Bucket wasn't happy with the way the Knicks had the lack of them not reaching out to them, not reaching out to him during this free agency. Beasley did comment on the post, basically contradicting the reports.
Hashtag fake news.
Hashtag fake news. So, Jay Ellis, give me your overall take on, not going back for Beasley and instead, choosing Hazonia. And, what's your take on that?
I mentioned this a little bit on the other live. I felt like, me personally, I think Beasley under Fizz would have been a nice little look because I felt like during the beginning of the season, when Beasley was under Jeff, and Jeff was actually concentrating on defense for a stretch, and Beasley was being held accountable. Beasley actually did pretty well on both ends of the floor, but then he kind of faltered towards the end. He got into his Beasley lapses. So I really was kind of excited to see him play under Fizz. But now, when we're bringing in Mario now, I mean, I love the Mario deal, man. To be honest, I like what Beasley brought to us. And if we were closer to winning something, it would make more sense to maybe bring Beasley in for a surefire way to score off the bench. But now that we have Mario here and we're developing for the future, it makes more sense in the long term to have Mario here. So even though I personally enjoyed Beasley last season, and I personally wanted him just to have a home because he just seemed like he was all over the place going from team to team.
Yeah.
But I like the move that Knicks made in choosing Mario over Beasley.
Jay Macri, what's your take on losing the Walking Bucket? How do you feel about that?
I mean, listen, I liked watching Bees from time to time as much as any Knicks fan. I appreciate the energy he brought. I thought his inconsistency is a legitimate thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, a lot of people ragged on him for kind of when he would go in the game, it would be some isolation basketball. But at the same time, that could be actually helpful to other young players because, it's tough when you have five guys out there and they're looking around and kind of no one knows where to go to ultimately finish off the shot clock. And that was a guy that you could always go to. And it's like, all right.
He had no problem shooting it. So
no problem.
None whatsoever. That being said, two thoughts on Beasley that I think is the reason he won't be here. And one of these is in favor of Mario. The other isn't. One is it's very clear from the way Fizz has talked that he wants the defense to fuel the offense. So, and again, do we have a lot of talented defensive players on this roster? No. But I think Fizz believes he could get everybody to, not only buy into a defensive system that includes a lot of trying to get in passing lanes, trying to get deflections, trying to, start fast break opportunities, but also guys who have the basketball IQ to execute that, and everybody can rely on the other four guys on the court next to them. And Beasley, for as many nice things as he did, he's a guy that you could not rely on to be where he was supposed to be on defense always.
Always with the mental lapses, man.
Yeah, off ball.
Exactly. And if you're playing the type of defense where you need to have the utmost trust in your teammates out there, to have a guy like that out there could be very damaging. We'll see if Hezonja can be any better on that end of the court. Clearly, again, not a defensively talented player.
Right.
Maybe he has a little bit higher defensive IQ. But the thing that I do think that it is of note also, Hezonja is a passer. He is a guy who he has some point guard skills in the frame of whatever he is, 6'8". Beasley had the ability to pass, but a lot of times just didn't use it. So I think, again, the way Fizz talks about moving the ball around, kind of maybe trying to emulate the Golden State style of offense, I think Hezonja fits in more with that. So, and again, just going back to what we said before, kind of just changing over in the locker room, get the older veterans who were here under Hornacek out, and have some, really put this on the kids and maybe keep around Lance, and if they bring in one other guy who's a new voice.
Lance, and we'll get to Lance in a second, but my take on the Beasley situation is echoes both of yours. I thought, obviously offensively we knew what he could bring to the table. He definitely helped us out in a good stretch when KP went down, the Boston game and the Thunder game to note. But, Jeff, the Knicks Film School came on with us last week, and I think he hit the nail on the head, and that was, we know what Beasley is. We know what he brings to the table. I thought the Mario deal was a better gamble on the upside in terms of, potential staying power for future years. And I can't knock management for not bringing Beasley back on a multi-year deal. I just don't think he's a guy that we necessarily need to move this team forward and to move this core forward.
I'm gonna miss Bees, man. That was my guy.
Yo, he was a funny dude, man. He was a funny dude, man. But, we got to move on. But we got a call coming in. 347, yo.
I wanted to, thanks for picking up. I wanted to jump in on your guys' conversation on Beasley.
Yeah, what's up, bro? Yo, who's this, by the way?
It's Sebastian calling.
Oh, Sebastian, what's good, bro?
From Brooklyn.
Sebastian from Brooklyn, what's good, bro?
Hey, brother.
Yeah, man, long-time Knicks fan. Listen, I think Beasley had a fine year. Obviously, I can't dispute that. But I personally wouldn't want to break the bank for him. I think it is a good sort of wait and see. And also, let us wait and see. Have you guys heard, what other teams are doing or how he's progressing with getting calls from other people? Because if he's not getting calls from other people, I'm not going to break the bank. I'm always of the mindset that when there's an outlier season, like what he did last year, it's not indicative of what he's going to do in the long run. I mean, I don't know. Look at JR. I don't think he's lived up to the amount of money Cleveland gave him because he had a good year at one point, and then everybody is like, okay, that's what he's going to do. But that's just inconsistent. And when you do really well, especially in a contract year, for me, that's just an indication that you may not produce the same going forward.
Well, to be before Beasley was with the Knicks, he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, and he shot around 50%. He came to the Knicks, shot around 50%. So I kind of feel like he's been consistent with the scoring and the averages ever since he's kind of gotten back on track for his NBA career. I think he's going to be all right. He's going to land somewhere.
They said, the early reports were that the Hawks were after him and maybe the Suns, right?
Right.
Okay.
It's Hawks Suns. Did I hear Portland?
So you think that as a way of what he did last year, that's going to be him consistently for the next couple of years at least?
I mean, his 3-point percentage was up a little bit more than usual. but it seems like he gets buckets. That's what he does. He's a scorer off the bench. I think whoever,
walking bucket.
yeah, he's walking bucket for a reason. So I feel like wherever he goes, he's gonna give that scoring punch off the bench. He might have those defensive lapses, and sometimes he's gonna give you some bonehead turnovers, but he's gonna give you the buckets.
And Jonathan, what do you
So
think?
what do you think that means for us then? Like, should we go out and be in front and do more than what other teams are willing to do for him to keep him?
I don't think so. Just because this year, and I certainly am not breaking any news here. This year is not about wins and losses, because if it was, it would be considered a failure. So as they want to spend this year laying the foundation and a groundwork for a system that is going to be in place for years to come, and that when when players come to the Knicks and sign with the Knicks, they're going to have some kind of identity, that they're going to be able to latch onto. And Beasley does what Beasley does, and he's very good at what he does, but he's his own animal, and they don't, what they're trying to do this year, that's not what they need. Like you mentioned Phoenix before, I think the Suns, they're apparently going to try to make a playoff push. I don't know how realistic that is, but they want to sign Michael Beasley to play 7 minutes a half off the bench. God bless. I think that's his perfect fit at this point.
Yeah,
I agree with you, man.
Yo, Sebastian,
I agree with you.
thanks for
It's
the
not
call,
in the space
man.
right now.
I appreciate it, man. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, man.
What's up, man?
Yeah, the walking bucket. He will be missed, but good luck to him, man. Good luck to him. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Happy Saturday. Jose Perez in here. Soccer Freak 4171. Jose Rivera, Edward Stalling. What's going on?
Yep. Ted Green was going on. Gary Miller was going on. Drip Bayless.
Bayless always in here. Kyrie 420.
Yeah. Shikamaru over here from Australia, man.
Kyrie says Beasley has a sick left hand. We got a call in from Jersey. Yo.
Hello?
Just turn your volume down, bro.
All
right, what's going on?
This is Jamal calling from Jersey, and I'm going to be real fast because I just discovered y'all show around draft time.
Okay.
So I want to touch on a few points from previous shows that I caught up on.
No problem, man.
Sure. One, I love the Kevin Knox pick. I feel like he has the tools, and you look at John Calipari's track record with players that he sent to the pro, very rarely do they be bums. Some of them all-stars, great players, but very rarely do they be bad
Kentucky
players.
is the NBA draft factory, man. That's for sure. Calipari, he's a great college coach, man. He gets the best, and he gets the best out of him.
Right. And I also want to talk on, there's been a lot about the Kyrie talk to New York. I think there's something to that.
Mm-hmm. Man, people's laughing at me.
I think the news is hot, man. I don't know. The news is hot, man.
Right. And there's been a lot made of his injuries, but the thing is, if a player like Westbrook was going through those kind of injuries, Kyrie's game is not built on athleticism and above the rim. He's a finisher. He's a below the rim player. I mean, injuries are a concern for any player, but not so much.
I only think with Kyrie,
you could say Steph Curry is injury prone.
I agree. He doesn't bring that explosiveness that kind of doomed Derrick Rose and was kind of what you worry about with Westbrook. But with Kyrie, all that stopping on the dime, those cuts. There's a reason why he's the best ball handler in the league, man, and one of the best dribblers in the league. His moves are powerful still. And, he's on his third knee procedure this season. He's on his third one.
Right.
So, it's
Don't
definitely
get me
a
wrong.
risk.
It is a concern, but my point is he's not a player that just relies on athleticism like a Westbrook or Stevie Francis or guys from the past that once they lost it, it was over.
Right.
And Kyrie is in a different category of player from those couple of guys that you just mentioned. I mean, I think sometimes we have a conversation about is he a top 10 player in the league? Is he a top 15 player in the league? For Kyrie, to me, the conversation is name 5 guys in the league you want on the floor in the last 5 minutes of the game ahead of Kyrie Irving.
That's my guy, man. One of my favorites. He's top 5.
If you have a chance to get that guy, and listen, look, knees are obviously important when you play basketball. That being said,
True.
Kyrie's shot is legit. I mean, again, the difference between Kyrie and a John Wall or a Russell Westbrook or a Derrick Rose, as we saw, is that those guys did not have the jump shot, the 3-point shot that Kyrie had. So let's just say things
and clutch.
Even if things went exactly, and he's clutch. Let's say things went not so great with the knees. I don't think you're looking at a sunk cost. I still think he has great passing vision. I still think he'd be able to, make his handles work for him, even if he was not at peak health. So to me, if he wants to come here, I'm giving him a blank check. I mean, I'll say that right now.
I'm rolling the dice, man. I'm rolling the dice. Yo, caller, what's your name, bro?
Jamal from Jersey. I want to make my last
All right, one more because we just got to run through the program. Just cognizant of time. Go ahead.
Okay, the Beasley thing, I think it was a good move letting him go because he could come off the bench and win a game for you night in and night out. But you want the young guys to start to grow and have those opportunities. Yeah. You don't want it from the veterans.
Yeah, you don't want them taking that opportunity from them. I hear that.
Right. I love the show. I just discovered it, and I'll be calling in every chance I get.
Thanks a lot, brother. Make sure you subscribe and stay up with us. Make sure you check Jay Ellis and check Jonathan from the Knicks Wall as well, man.
Word.
Okay, will do.
Thanks a lot, bro. All right. That was Jamal from Jersey. All right, real quick, just to run through it, and people in the chat are talking about it as well. There's an interesting debate going on involving one Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah, man. Facebook is hitting us up too, man. Facebook is starting to grow over there.
Salute to Facebook, and we'll touch on their comments in a second, but and Jonathan Macri was definitely involved in a lot of this debate yesterday. So the news was that I think Sacramento had signed Zach LaVine to, I believe it was a 4-year, 70-something.
4 for 80.
4 for 80. 4 for 8. See all them behind the back dunks and everything will take you a long way, man. 4 years, $80 million they offered for Zach LaVine, and the Bulls matched it.
Crazy.
So then I'm not sure who, I don't know if it was John Smelk or Tommy Bear, but
they were both on it.
They were both on it, and they had suggested that we should offer Timmy to the Kings to free up some of that cap space in 2019, obviously with guys like Kyrie and Jimmy Butler, maybe Clay as potential targets. So Jay Macri, I'm gonna kick it to you, man. What's your take on this, and should we be active callers?
I mean, I'll be brief on this. I wrote a piece for the Knicks Wall this week about how, fans think of like the summer free agent chase and they think back to the summer of 2010. And there was a lot wrong with that summer. One, I don't think we ever really had, the Knicks ever had a really realistic shot at landing LeBron James. There was never anything tying him, to coming, but they went about just dumping contracts of good players, specifically Zach Randolph and Jamal Crawford. And they got nothing back for those guys.
Yeah, that was tough, man. I hated losing Zebo and JC.
And I made the parallel to this time around that was a mistake then, and that they should not do the same thing now. And really, the guy who you'd look at, is Timmy. So again, the question, but at the same time, I think there's a little bit more to the Kyrie noise. I think the KD noise is real. Kyrie wants to play with Jimmy Butler. So on one hand, I think they have a more realistic shot at making a big splash in free agency next summer. But on the other hand, I still don't think that they should take a 26-year-old player who, granted, is maybe not highly overpaid, but, is he a $10 million a year player? Is he a $12 million a year player? Maybe 13 at most, whatever it is. He's overpaid. And his defense is never going to be better than, I want to say, mediocre. But it's a 26-year-old wing in a league that's always looking for wings who can bring a little bit of versatility to the floor, who can make an outside shot, who could handle the ball a little bit. He knows how to run a pick and roll. Not great, but he does.
Yeah.
And he is a guy that you can give the ball to at the end of the shot clock and at least, again, get a somewhat respectable shot out of it. So people act like they need to salary dump him because, he's a useless guy.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% ready to do that yet. I think if the cap space is there in Sacramento right now, it's going to be there in a couple months. I don't foresee them using up that space on anybody else. I mean, sure, make the phone call, but try to extract an asset, even if it's a small asset.
Yes.
For Hardaway.
Right.
See if they'll give you, I don't know, the second round pick. I think they had to send over there to get Scott Perry. I think they sent the second to get Perry on board. I'm not sure, 100% sure on that. But whatever, a future second that Sacramento owns. Anything, just the idea of salary dumping a guy who's overpaid, but not. It's not. We're not talking about Joakim Noah here. We're not talking about a guy who's making $18 million a year and can't play. We're talking about a guy who's making $18 million a year and should be making less.
Right.
But
he's still serviceable, still has potential, but I think in the grand scheme of things, trying to get to 2019, I'd sacrifice Timmy if it meant that opening up cap space for it.
It's not an easy question.
JL is jumping.
I kind of feel I'm leaning on the side of Jonathan here, and only because for a few reasons. One, the Fizdale factor, man. We gotta wait. Sprinkle a little fizz on Timmy to see what is he going to be, because even though you say he's overpaid now, he can have a full year potentially being a starter if he's actually a starter. He's going to actually be playing his real role at the 2, not the 3, guarding oversized bigs the 3. Like, I want to see him grow. He has a chance to grow this year and actually raise his value before we actually trade him. So I still feel like he's going to have a decent year, man. I think he's going to have a better year than he had last year. And if the time comes, when Kyrie is like knocking at the door and say, I want to come here, then we can move him. And his trade value actually might be a little bit higher than it is right now.
And the other thing about, just to throw one more thing on this, I know people want to get rid of him now. Next summer, there's going to be so much money floating around out there, and there's going to be a lot of GMs that come up empty-handed that are not going to want to go to their owners and say, sorry, we missed out, better luck next year. And Tim is a guy, I believe, not for every franchise, not even for most franchises, but for a couple franchises out there, like, your Kings of the world, who are going to be, their GMs are going to be able to trade for him and say, look, we got you a 26-year-old shooting guard who just put up 20 points a game. I think he could easily average 20 this year, and could kind of play kind of two-way basketball. I think there's going to be an opportunity next summer if they need to move him to do so. And it's not going to be as hard as people think. Yeah.
I mean, my take on the situation, I think number one, the trade kicker is tough. When you think about trying to make moves for 2019, then you think about Steve Mills making all these deals before we even put a general manager in place. The trade kicker, the no trade for Ron Baker. I mean, some of these things, you shoot yourself in the foot because you have no flexibility or you limit your flexibility. I think Tim, obviously, I love some aspects of his game. He is fearless. I don't like that he chucks. I don't like the lack of mental toughness that he sometimes exerts. The lapses on defense, things of that nature. To Jay Ellis's point, I would like to see what Fizdale can get out of him. Maybe he can get some more out of him. Maybe he can get him to be a bit more consistent. Timmy's obviously working on his game this offseason, so let's see what happens. But I would definitely keep my ear to the phones if I'm the Knicks. And,
absolutely.
Keep your ears perked up in the event we could unload them for 2019 space. Right now, we got a call coming in from 347. Yo.
Hello, what's up, man? This is Michael calling from Brooklyn, man.
Michael from Brooklyn. Yo, we get mad people from Brooklyn, bro.
Hey, man, don't hate on my guys.
Yo, listen,
what's up, bro?
I was born and raised in Brooklyn, man. Raised a little bit, but
I'm in Flatbush.
Yeah,
word?
Yeah, man. I used to live in Flatbush, man. So salute to Brooklyn for sure.
Right. But look though, let me ask y'all a question. This is something I've been thinking about since Tim Hardaway came back to the Knicks, right?
Okay.
Why is it that everybody think that he has to be a starter? Like when he was on Atlanta, right? Wasn't he doing good as a 6-man off the bench? Or was he like? If I'm not mistaken, was he starting or was he coming off the bench?
He was coming off the bench. I think ideally on a good team, I would slot him in as a 6 man. I think on a good
100%,
team, he
yeah.
can help as a 6 man for sure.
Well,
that's his perfect role.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to cut you. So I'm saying not every NBA player is a starter, man. You know what I'm saying? Some people excel as a starter. Some people excel coming up the bench. Maybe he's a 6 man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I know we paid him a lot of bread, but listen, man, we got to make sense out of this, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying because he started for this whole, the whole of last year, and like, it make no sense, man.
Yeah. Nah, I hear you,
know
man.
What I mean?
I hear you, man. Yo, you come from JA, bro?
Nah. I'm from Trinidad, actually. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. All right. Salute to Trinidad, man. All right, yo, thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate it.
No doubt, man. All right, y'all keep up what y'all doing, and I'm enjoying it, man. All right?
Thanks a lot, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, man.
Respect.
Yeah, the Timmy stuff is interesting, man. Let's go to the chat, see what some of the comments on Timmy are, and then we'll move forward. We got to definitely keep the program moving, being cognizant of the time. All right, one more call from South Carolina. I think I know who this is.
South Carolina.
Yo.
There we go.
Man, you know who it is.
It's my man Ron Cleveland in the building. What's going on, Ron?
What's up, man?
Man. Hey, I'm loving the discussion, man. Hey, like I always say, man, right now is a great time to be a Knicks fan. I mean, the possibilities is endless of what we can do right now.
It's true.
But I'm kind of on the fence with Timmy. I like what I saw from Tim earlier in the season before KP got hurt. Yep. I think he was playing some of the best ball that he ever played. He was more composed. But it's almost like the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. and he started reverting back to chucking, taking Hilly by. I just worry.
He's not that old though.
Yeah,
he's not an old dog.
He's a young dog.
Well, basketball said. but what I get what you said, but so far as what I'm thinking about with habits, you know what I mean? When you've been playing the game as organized as he has for as long as he has, those habits become ingrained, man, and trying to change them. How old is Timmy?
He gotta be maybe 25.
He's 26.
26. Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, and think about how long he's been playing organized ball. You know what I mean? And by this time, I mean, you are what you are, pretty much. But there's no denying the guy can get his own shot. I agree. He really is a 6 man. He's not a starter. But on our team, I think when you got to look at the other possibilities on the team. You got Damian Dotson. Yep. You got this kid, Allonzo Trent. I can't wait till the Summer League kicks off.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see this kid.
I got my DVR set to record so I can go back and break the game down and look at who's who and what. But when you look at the glut of guards we got, and Courtney Lee got to go too. Somehow we got to get him out of there. I mean, it's just really the fact is it's going to be subtraction. Somebody's got to go.
Yeah.
And it's all about who you gonna get the most value for.
True
as
indeed.
Much as I would love to keep Timmy, man, if you can clear up cap space, I agree. Not just giving away the guy to give him away, but you got to get something in return. Because I mean, he's a 16-point a game guy, easy in his sleep. He can do that.
Yeah. That's a good point, man.
So that's what I'm looking at, man. But, hey, fellas, man, I'm going to let y'all have it. I know other people want to call in. Hey, it's a great time to be a Knick. And like I said, baby, the Knicks are back.
The OG Ron Cleveland speaks. Yo, Ron, thanks for the call, man.
Ron
do your thing, man. Y'all do your thing, man.
All right, take it easy, man.
I love the optimism.
Yo, Ron Cleveland, he's the most optimistic Knicks fan in the nation right now, man. Always a good
Omar
call.
right here with the Knicks are back.
Always a good call, man. Always a good call. So, like I said, being cognizant of the time, let's run through the next portion. Salute to everybody in the chat. I'll definitely get to the chat comments in a bit. Salute Simeon, nothing but Knicks in here. Chuck Norris, what's going on? Salute to all the guys in the chat, man. We'll definitely get back to the chat. But let's move through to the next portion. And like Ron said, led to, somebody's got to shake out of this lineup, man. And 2019, we're cognizant of 2019. We're cognizant that we have a youth movement going on, so we got to make some moves for the young guys. So we're going to look to ship out Courtney Lee. I thought he's been a good investment since he's been here. But obviously it's time. So our esteemed guest, Jonathan Macri, broke down a couple of trade options for Courtney Lee. So Jonathan, we're gonna kick it off to you for option number one that you were thinking.
Yeah, and I mean these all kind of fall into the same category because you got to look for a trade for an expiring contract.
Yeah.
And B, it has to be a team that does not think they're going to be a player in the summer of 2016 or summer of 2019, excuse me, because obviously his contract is 2 years. But C, it also has to be a team that's looking to win now. And there's not that many teams out there that qualify, and could send a player back under those. So my favorite one is send him to Memphis for Jermichael Green and Ben McLemore. In this scenario, I think the Knicks would cut McLemore. They would waive McLemore.
He's had a disappointing season. I mean, career so far, man. Yeah, I think he left. He probably left a little too early.
What happened?
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I like that trade because they apparently still love him in Memphis. They're a big fan. They could use some more shooting on that team. I don't believe that, especially now that they've lost Tyreke Evans to Indiana, they really have a hole at the guard spot. I don't know if they want to run back out the lesser light options that they were doing at the shooting guard position last year. And also Jermichael Green kind of learned his craft under Fizz. And I think he's the kind of guy that, and hey, we have a glaring hole at the four. I'm sure they're going to play Knox up a position. I'm sure they're going to play Mario Hezonja up a position here and there. I'm sure they're going to, give Lance a little bit of run. But there's no one on this team who you look at and be like, okay, that is an ideal starting four. So I like that trade. I don't know if Memphis would do it, obviously, but they're capped out next summer anyway, and they're clearly looking to win this year. So I think it works out for both sides. It's just a matter of, do they want to give up Jermichael Green, a guy on an expiring contract? You never know. Yeah. So you want to chime in on that one?
Yeah. JL, what's your take on this potential?
I'm for it, man. Any move right now to move Courtney Lee to free up some time for my guy Dotson, I'm all for it. I want to see my guy Dot get some shine with his defensive abilities, an assassin. I want to see him get some burn, for real. And even Allonzo, I'm kind of curious to see what he's gonna do. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'd be on board with it, especially let me get the 3-share. Jermichael Green, as Jay Macri alluded to, could be the power forward that we could slot right in. Averaged 10 points, 8 rebounds last year, 50% effective field goal shooting. That's pretty decent. And for some backup minutes, we could definitely use a guy like that. And as Jay Macri alluded to, he played under Fizdale, so he's already familiar with the style of play. 6'9", 227 pounds. I mean, that could be the replacement for KO that we're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And there's some value in bringing in a guy to a team that already knows the coach's system, because, you might look at him and say, well, he's not going to be here long term because his cap hold is going to be kind of high and they're not going to resign him after this year. But at the same time, you want to create an environment where the other players get the most out of their time on the court. And if they could spend some time playing with a guy who already knows the system very well, I think that could only help. So I like that deal. If you could get Memphis to throw in a second-round pick, I mean, all the better. I tend to think that they probably wouldn't, but you never know.
True that. All right, let's go. What's the next one you want to go on?
Next one would be kind of a straight salary dump. Trade him to Sacramento for Iman Shumpert. They make about the same amount of money.
Shump, the return of Shumpert.
The return of
Shumpert.
I think Shump would be here for about a cab ride before they
ship his ass back to Chicago.
Yeah. No, they would waive Shump, clear up a roster spot. Again, you'd be hoping to try to get a second-round pick out of Sacramento in a trade like this. Would be ideal. But yeah, I think that could work again, just to get rid of his contract for next year.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Why not?
Yeah.
Man, what happened to Shumpert, man?
It's injuries, man. That's my thing.
You think it was
That's
the
my
AC?
whole
You think it was
theory.
that AC when he took that ACL down in was it Miami? I remember
Not
that.
even just that. Just his career in general. I feel like every time Shump got into a rhythm, he got injured. every single time.
I'll
And it's
never
thrilling.
forget watching Game 6 in Indiana.
Yeah.
You know, second round of playoffs when he was. I forget if he was a rookie or it was his second year, but he was hitting those threes in that run they made.
Yeah, him and Melo were going off.
Yeah,
Melo
I was
was
like,
going off, man.
Listen, that's the most exciting moment Knicks fans have arguably had in the last decade.
Yeah.
Sanity, KP stuff last season, but yeah, no, I loved Shump.
Jeez, man.
I was dead wrong on him as were a lot of people. So
word.
Yeah.
He invented the Knicks tape, man.
Salute to Shump, man. But hey, we'll take that if it means getting rid of Lee and those 2 years. I'll bring back Shump and waive him real quick. All right, what's the next one?
So next one, I think we got the Utah trade that I came up with. Again, this is straight salary dump. Traded Utah for Alec Burks.
Okay.
Burks kind of really hasn't worked out as a player. He's an expiring contract. You know what? Burks is a guy I could see them consider keeping. I don't know that Utah would want to commit all that salary to next year. I mean, this is not a team that is a traditional player in the free agent market. I think Courtney Lee is the type of guy that you put him under a coach like Quinn Snyder. I think Quinn Snyder would really value some of the things that he brings to the table.
He'd be good for them, a playoff team. He'd be a solid piece.
Valuable minutes. And hey, if you're Utah this year, why not see, I mean, look, are you going to beat Golden State? No, but for an organization like Utah, there's real value in making it to the second round of the playoffs. Making, who knows? Could they give Houston a run for their money this year? I doubt it, but you never know. I mean, I don't think it's insane to think that they could.
I thought Burks had some potential when he came in. He had a couple of good years for Utah. Obviously,
they gave him that contract, the 4 for 40, I think it was.
Obviously, burnt the Knicks over the years, but who hasn't? These guys. That's always when you see him when they hit that West Coast trip, man. He this guy's pretty good, man. He's pretty good.
I mean, he would fit in with Trey Burke, who burnt us as well.
They were teammates
when he was with
teammates.
Exactly.
When
he saw Burke burnt us. I mean, might as well get the Burke burning.
Yeah.
Tribe on the Knicks.
Alec Burks. Okay.
All right. So the next one I got, this would be easily the most amusing one.
And I can't stand this dude, man.
Oh, who can? I mean, the guy
cannot stand this dude, man.
My garbage man or sanitation worker who's been on his route for the last 20 years has a better body than this.
Oh my God, this bum Jared Dudley, folks.
Hold that L.
So send him to Phoenix for Jared Dudley. Phoenix has made no bones about the fact that again they're trying to make a playoff push this year. Jared Dudley's in a contract.
Oh my God, this dude.
I mean, obviously with Cantor here, they would waive Dudley immediately.
Yeah.
But again, try to get a second round pick from Phoenix, a future second rounder. And just a note, I keep throwing this out there, future second rounders. If there's any team dumb enough to give you a second round pick in either the 2021 draft or the 2022 draft, the teams have to be all over those because those are the years. It'll either be in 21 or 22 when high school players are going to be allowed to jump straight to the court.
Okay. Yeah. Good point.
In those years, a second round pick, even not a great second round pick, is going to have the value of a pick maybe 10 to 15 spots higher in a normal draft.
Right.
So if they could get their hands on another pick from one of those years, that would be great.
Yeah, it could definitely increase the pool. And I know I see a lot of people in the chat like, no way, I don't want Jared Dudley. Remember, this is a salary dump. We're not looking to play. Yeah, we're not looking to play Jared Dudley.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Although it would be interesting to put his locker next to Cannon's locker and just see how that plays out. But we're not looking to trade. We're not looking to keep Shump or keep Jared Dudley. These are just salary dumps to get us in a better position for 2019 to sign free agents. So
except this last one. So the last one that we have, we'll get to that, is I don't know if they would necessarily waive this guy because this guy can play a little bit. And that's
Terrence Ross.
Orlando. And the reason I think that the Magic would consider that, even though they probably are maybe looking to play in the free agent market next summer, even though I don't know if that's going to be possible with their cap situation. But you never know. Things could change. Because Courtney Lee played for Steve Clifford, Orlando's new head coach, down in Charlotte, and Steve Clifford has gone on record as saying that he really, really likes what Courtney Lee brings to the table. He's got a young team there. Doesn't really, right now you could say that either Jonathan Simmons or Terrence Ross is going to be their starting shooting guard. Maybe he thinks Courtney Lee would be a little bit better fit. Ross's contract expires, obviously.
He got a boatload of money too, didn't he? He got what do you get?
He's getting paid about 10.
Oh,
10
10.
and a half.
All right, not bad, not bad.
So again, the salaries would work. I have a feeling if we propose that trade, that Orlando would be the one asking New York for the second round pick to throw in,
Probably,
which I would not do at this point yet. And again, if you believe what you hear, teams have called about Courtney Lee. So I don't think that there is no market for him. I think it's just a very tight market. So, but it's just, you're going to have to accept that it's essentially going to be a salary dump. If you could get a second round pick back in the deal, that's what it's going to be.
I'm hoping we're going to actually be able to move him before the actual training camp and his season starts.
I think
that's going to be awkward.
I'd be very surprised if he opened camp with the Knicks.
Yeah, I would definitely like to see Dotson get those minutes for sure.
Absolutely. And by the way, if you picked up on something Fizz said 2 days ago when he was interviewed, or Dotson actually said that Fizz told him he wanted him to put up 4 or 5 threes a game. So if he's putting 4 or 5 threes a game, that means he's planning on playing Dave Dotson a good 20, 25 minutes a night.
I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting for Dotson to explode, man.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to have that same confidence he had in G League last season that he had and bring that to the NBA. I'm waiting.
Couple people in the chat, and salute to the chat. Jason M, Richard Rowe in particular, are asking about what about the Manimal? What about Kenneth Faried? How could we make a Kenneth Faried for Lee trade happen?
I think Denver is looking to cut salary. Unfortunately, they're still, even after the Wilson Chandler trade, they're still over the tax line.
Yeah, so they don't want to add that extra year.
They do not want to add that extra. They're not only do they not want to add the extra year.
Caller, hold on 1 second. Caller. Yeah, turn your volume down and hold on 1 second.
They're looking to shake bonus for this year. So I don't think, unfortunately, as much as I think Faried would be a nice fit for next year, I don't think so.
Appreciate it. Yo, caller, you got to turn your volume down, man. It's coming in kind of loud. Well, what's going on, though?
All right, my bad, sir. Hold on. Let me take it. Yo, what's good?
Yo, what's good? Who is Q?
Nah. This is Lord Scientist, man. I'm from Brooklyn, but I'm in Fort Worth, Texas right now.
Okay. Shout out to Brooklyn once again. Fort Worth. What's
Shout out
going
to
on?
Texas, too.
Shout out to Texas, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, be clear. Flatbush is in the building. But
Flatbush is heavy.
Yeah. Yo, I might be watching something old right now because I thought y'all was live just now on the thing talking about Courtney Lee and the trade and everything. So forgive me if I'm not on what you're talking about right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now we live. We live.
Yeah, we all live. We live and direct, man. What's going on?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't know what y'all subject was. Like I said, I'm watching something thinking that y'all was live with the Courtney Lee thing.
Yeah, that's live. That's live.
That's right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So, yo, check, right? With Courtney Lee, what I would say is consider this, okay? In the last 2 years since Courtney Lee been with the Knicks, look how his numbers improved. And that was with, the coach we just got rid of. So now, can you imagine what Fitz is getting ready to do with Courtney Lee? Because factually, Courtney Lee is a sniper coming off the bench. And I understand the thing about freeing up some cap space.
You got to free the cap, though, bro.
Right, but look at what Fitz could possibly do with this dude.
Yeah,
just
but
like
the thing is, and I hear you. Like I said, I think I've been a Courtney Lee advocate. I think his signing was a good value for over the 2 years. But I think at the end of the day, they're looking to get the young guys more time. Courtney Lee doesn't really fit the vision of this team. We're building for the future. A guy like Courtney Lee, he needs to be playing for a contender now, or another team like a Utah who we could help maybe. They just made the Western Conference semifinals. A guy like Courtney Lee could help them as a vet off the bench, and I think that's where we're looking at him right now.
And also if you're looking at that, we have Dotson who is at the 2. We have Frank Ntilikina who he play at the 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
Plus we have Allonzo, Trey. You might see what he has. Tim Hardaway Jr. Like we have a
we gotta go, man.
But
it's time to go.
We gotta free up some time.
Yeah.
You're not gonna have two playing small forward and power forward.
Yo, Lord, we gotta move on because we gotta be cognizant of the time. Appreciate the phone call, bro.
Yeah, facts. Yo, I love what y'all doing. I subscribe and I support the movement. Go Knicks.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for the support. Yeah, man. So we got Brooklyn in the house by way of Texas. Salute to the chat. Everybody in the chat, let us know where you from, man. Which part of the world are you from? If you say Wakanda or Antarctica, that will not count. We will not salute you. We've been getting a lot of those. But, we worldwide, man. We've been getting a lot of people from London, Australia, Japan, St. Lucia, I think we had, Jamaica.
Yeah, last week,
Yeah, man. Crazy. Yeah, man. That's why we like to do this, man. All right, so let's roll to the last segment. We got to be cognizant of the time.
Summer League.
4 hours and counting.
4 hours and counting to the biggest game of the year so far. We're going for the Summer League championship. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I'm hyped, man. Well, I mean, what's your guys' overall take on Summer League starting up? I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped for it.
I don't know. I'm gonna let the guests go first.
Jay Macri, go ahead, man. What's your take?
Listen, for me, the Summer League is all going to be about kind of figuring out one or two things that you want to see from the main guys. I think with Frank, to me, like a lot of people say, Frank is the most intriguing person on their Summer League team because they want to see the aggressiveness. They want to see him, being willing to just kind of take charge a little bit more. I don't worry about Frank. I am the president of the Frank fan club. I think it's coming. Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, you want to see a little bit more aggressiveness from him, definitely. As far as Knox, it's always interesting when you get those guys in Summer League who are, pegged as being projects and pegged as being a guy who's going to take a lot of time to develop. Because then when they come in and you could tell right away, like, oh, this dude could play right away in this league. Like Porzingis, Summer League 3 years ago, he didn't light the world on fire. He had his problems defending Okafor in that game. We remember that. But at the same time, you knew as soon as you watched him, oh, okay, this guy, he could play in this league, So I think I want to look and see that from Knox. Can he feel his way out there? Because I know the basketball IQ was kind of a question, with him coming into the draft. Yeah. As far as Mitchell Robinson, man,
that's the guy.
That's the guy I'm looking for.
That's the guy I'm looking at right now.
To me, because he, looked throughout history at successful NBA teams who put together sustained runs, and somewhere along the way, whether it's drafting Draymond Green in the second round, whether it's the Bulls got Rodman for a nothing trade. Whether it was, the Spurs getting Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili at the end, Parker at the end of the first round, Ginobili, I think might have been a second round pick. They get incredibly lucky at some point, and it's got to happen. I don't know whether Mitchell Robinson is going to be our version of that, but I feel like that potential exists. So I'm obviously very curious to see that. And then just the two shooting guards, Damian Dotson and Allonzo Trier, man. I mean, Trier is a guy, he played obviously in Arizona. Those games were on late. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I watched a ton of Wildcat basketball. Mm-hmm. But I know the dude could score. Defense has been an issue, but if you listen to Fizz talk even, he could put the ball in the basket. So, again, he's a guy on a two-way contract. Is he going to be someone, like, again, you could tell right away, does he look like he belongs? I maybe wouldn't read as much into Trier or some of the other guys because we've seen veteran college guys come into Summer League and put up great numbers before, and it hasn't translated to the pros. So he's the one guy that if we see, let's just say he goes out there and scores 20 points tonight, I'm not going to get too excited because he just knows what he's doing more, having been in a professional, college program for several years. But yeah, man, I'm pumped. I'm very pumped, just like the rest of us.
I'm pumped, man. Jay Ellis, give me your Summer League rundown.
Yeah, man, I'm really pumped. I'm gonna start with Mitchell Robinson, because that's been the enigma for a lot of people. He hasn't played ball in over a year. The reports saying that, he's only played two. He only played 2-on-2. He's only played 3-on-3. And then he started training with the Knicks. And then Fizz comes out and says, you know what? There's not as much rust. There's not really a rusting happening. And for me, I was
and that surprised me too, because usually the coaches are honest. If the coach thinks he needs work, he'll let you know he needs work. Not to say he's gonna come out and be a starter or a rotation player, but I found it surprising that that they were so high on his readiness, I guess.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my mind, when I heard that, I'm thinking automatically, okay, project G League, we still gonna need another big man. But this was giving me a little bit more hope that maybe we can find some spot minutes for him on the team. Mm-hmm. If we see something kind of like how Jonathan was mentioning, we see those flashes that KP was showing, or maybe he's worth actually putting on the team in the actual roster, in the actual NBA game, to see what he does 10 minutes a game or so. So I'm really excited to see what transpires from that. Also, Jonathan he posted a video that I ended up watching of his workout.
Yeah.
Where his handle looked pretty smooth, man.
Yeah.
The handle looked smooth.
He's working on threes.
Smooth. Yeah, he's working on threes. Like all the videos I've seen before that was just him straight dunking on people. But it seems like there's a little bit more versatility in this game. Granted, I'm not sure how that is going to translate in the actual game with like defenders and everything. But what I've seen so far from the workouts, maybe some of that can translate. And we could possibly have a nice little 1-2 punch with him and KP.
And here's the thing with Robinson. If him or anybody for that matter is ready to contribute, I don't want to say ready to contribute, shows themselves able to play on the level of the NBA as opposed to the G League, this organization at this point will not hesitate to bring them up and find them minutes, which you could not say last year. As long as they're showing effort, and as long as they're doing the things that he wants them to do, Fizz is the type of coach that will let these guys play through mistakes, and that includes Mitchell Robinson if he is ready. So, man, I just the whole thing with him, I think, was what's going on above the neck, what's going on between the ears.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like, because he not only did he skip a year, did he not go for a year of college, he also skipped the combine, which. A lot of people, that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And before he skipped the combine, I was seeing him in mock drafts in like the late teens, early 20s. And it was the skipping the combine that really dropped him down, because people said, well, he hasn't learned anything after the poor decision-making in the past. If that part's okay, then I think the physical stuff is the kid's amazing.
And Cole, we got a call on the line, but Cole, hold that thought 1 second. To your point, Jonathan, that's what I was wondering, why he slipped so far in the draft. I'm like, if he was just out of high school for 1 year, still working out, and so highly touted as a prospect, high school All-American, all of that, how still did he fall so far into the draft? But now you're saying that he skipped the combine as well, so maybe there were some red flags. I also heard John Rothstein, who's an esteemed writer for college basketball, he questioned whether Robinson, even favored playing basketball in his future. So
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. He questioned the kid's motivation for playing basketball. So. Let's have a tempered expectations for him and see where it goes. We got a call coming in from 347. Yo.
Hey guys, what's up? This is Kody.
Cody, what's good, bro?
Insider.
Hey, listen. From Brooklyn originally, Flatbush.
Hey.
Flatbush, heavy.
I love it.
But the whole family, my wife and I, and my beautiful 2-year-old. Son, listening to you guys, so it's a family affair for the KnicksFanTV today.
Salute.
Probably following Nick of Time, so Ellis, my bad for being late on that.
Yeah, everybody definitely follow Nick of Time show, Jay Ellis. He does a great podcast. Like I said, my man Jonathan Macri on the Knicks Wall. You can find him at J Macri NBA, right, on Twitter.
Yeah. JC Macri, yeah. Don't forget
JC Macri. Yeah. And I'll post all the links to where you can find these guys in the video description. For the replay.
Yeah. And Jonathan, you are my go-to person on Twitter, man. So it's an honor to speak with you.
Man, I appreciate that very much.
No problem. So guys, I think the way I'm thinking about it, the Knicks actually got 3 first rounders, if you think about it. And I think this is the genius of this year's picks, because Mitch Robinson, up until I think before the combine, both Draft Express, DraftNet, Pinkathon had Mitchell around the 22-30 mark.
I see him at 11.
Yeah. And sometimes he was even up earlier in the year. But you know what? I think we got lucky is because the center from Texas A&M, the fact that he dropped all the way down.
Who you dropped to Boston? I think. Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah, to Boston, which I think kind of helped us get Mitchell Robinson. So I think Mitchell Robinson, I wouldn't rush it. I think, let him play in the G League up until maybe the All-Star game, and then bring him up slowly. Because I think if he can give us, I think, Jonathan, the IQ part, if he can give us the same as, if he can get to a point where he's like what was the center that we had back in the day, around 1999-ish, blocking shots?
Camby?
Oh, my God. Camby. If he can be a Camby, he might be a Chandler kind of guy where, he give us 10, 15, but he rebounds, he get lobs, he controls the paint. I mean, that's a steal. That's the guy you can, 5 years down the line. But I think he's a project. We have to invest in Mitchell for like 3 to 4 years.
The problem is with the lack of depth, you might need him up with the major leagues.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, you have Cantor and
Cornet. You got Cantor, Cornet, and Noah are your bigs.
Yeah, and Noah. Yeah. So
maybe Lance. Lance might be your starting power forward. Jay Macri, your boy might be starting at the 4, man.
Yeah, he's my boy.
No, but that helps. That helps a lot. So I think, but we have to be. And this week, I was so cool to see him. Like this week, if you watch Mitch Robinson interviews, he was very relaxed. He was laughing.
Seems poised. Yeah, definitely seems poised.
That first rollout where he was super nervous, so I was glad to see him like relaxed, laughing, having a better interaction with the media. Before I go quickly, I'm glad the KD thing is picking up steam. Because I'm all on
you on it too, man? Who is it? I forgot who called. He's on the KD
I'm
shit.
Glad KD. I think I put it out there first on KnicksFanTV. Glad that people are starting to support that. Third thing, no Kyrie. No Kyrie. No. I prefer Kemba, Damian for sure. But I prefer Kemba to don't forget, Kemba averaged 22 points.
Kemba's a dog. Don't get me wrong. I'll welcome him with open arms back home.
He hasn't been in the playoff a lot, so it's not like he's tired or anything like that. So he can give you a good 3-4 years. Kemba, somebody else taking the pressure off of KP. I'm all for that. This Kyrie, man, dude's been injured. I'm not sure what else I can tell you. Like, the question I ask all Kyrie fans: can you guarantee that he's gonna be there for like the 4 years? And there's always like a pause because you can't.
You can't.
You know his knees is like a shot.
You can't.
So that's what I gotta say. Talk to you guys later.
Cody, my man, always supporting, man. Thanks a lot, brother.
Appreciate it, Cody. And so it reminds me of something somebody asked me on Twitter the other day about if I had a choice between Kyrie and Jimmy Butler or KD and Kemba Walker, who would I take?
I go KD, Kemba.
What?
For me, it's not even a question.
That's not even a question, man.
And just quick on the KD stuff. I get fans don't want to spend the next 300 and whatever it's going to be, 57, 58 days talking about him. But I mean, look, when the second best player in the world, who he's not 30 yet, he's at the peak of his powers, and you look realistically, he's trying to, there are certain players that they have different conversations. Like KD's not worrying about chips anymore. He got his chips. He got his MVPs. He's trying to get into that top 10 all-time discussion. So
my devil's advocate to that would be once they three-peat this year, because all likelihood, barring any injury, they will.
Probably.
Wouldn't his ascension to that Mount Rushmore be expedited if they stay and go for 4, 5, 6? I mean, who's stopping them right now?
It's to me, if you're looking at who is going to be the guy to come to this franchise, the Knicks, and take them to a championship, that to me would be on par with what LeBron did in Cleveland.
Oh, for sure. 100%, man. You're the king of the world if you can do that, man.
Oh, hell yeah. It's praising your honor and every statues, everything.
Facts.
Yeah. No, and again, KD, from all indications that I could get, seems like a guy that no one could quite figure out. But that to me makes it all the more interesting, because if there was ever going to be a guy who would leave a situation where he could potentially get 1 or 2 more rings, to take the risk, why wouldn't it be this guy? He's achieved everything else, you know.
I don't trust him, man. I don't trust him. Yo, J Mac, my fault, J. J Macri, how you doing on time? Because it's one.
I'm all right, man.
You good? Okay. All right, JL's go ahead.
Nah, I'm just the intrigue of KP and KD playing together with all that crazy length and defense is like mind blowing. But I'm just worried about all the trolling, because we troll hard in New York. Yeah. Will KD be able to handle the immense amount of trolling he will
Can he handle the Isola backhanded shade?
Oh my God! There's not going to be enough Twitter fake profiles in the world.
Oh my God!
I'm going to have to run your burner accounts if KD.
Facts.
For that.
Yo, we got a call on the line. What's good, man? Is he still there? I don't know. He might have fell asleep. I plugged him in like 5 minutes. He might have hung up.
Okay.
All right. It's interesting. I think Zach Lowe podcast, he brought that point up about KD.
He did. Him and Winderman. Windhills, excuse me.
KD's he's just so. We got another call coming in. KD just so. I don't know if he's built for it, man. We got a call on the line. Yo.
Yeah, man, Ruben in the building.
Rube, what's up, bro?
In the building. Hey, got shouting out every player everywhere. Brooklyn in the building too. East Side Push, but I'm from West New York, Buffalo. Just to throw that out. You're probably the only person in the chat.
All right, Buffalo. All right. At least it's not snowing up there.
What's going on with JL? All my people. I subscribe to everybody, man. Make sure I get to you too, Maggie. But look, man, I just wanted to call in because it's been a lot. But I have to say this, especially to some of the callers calling in about the Courtney Lee and us needing to trade Courtney Lee and his value and all of that. Look, we know Courtney Lee. Anybody who watched basketball knows that Courtney Lee is a good player. You know, especially for the money he's getting, absolutely good player. But the thing is what we have to do is get Lance, Courtney, and personally Tim Hardaway. I know everybody claim about Joe King. No, he ain't coming off. But we get Tim Hardaway off the books, then we got a chance next year. I don't think if we just let one of them go, it's not enough. We got to make it a way for us to get at least Lance and and Courtney off, or Tim Hardaway off. That gets us the money we need. That's first off. So it's not about the players and how good they are, because Tim Hardaway is a great player. Even for that money, nobody should be mad at Tim for that money. It's just that what we're trying to do. That's all. Now, that's first off. Second thing I wanted to say, bro, is that we've been talking about I've been reading a lot of stuff about lineups and what we're going to do with lineups, especially with trying to play Kevin at both wing spots. Our wingspan is going to be ridiculous. If Mitch come through and we get to play all of them, that wingspan is going to be crazy.
Frank,
I think that's
Frank
the big
as
thing
well. Yeah.
Right. And I love that everybody loves Dotson. I don't hear it enough. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, big Dotson fans here.
Right, but we got to get these other guards off the bench, off out of our squad. That's the only way Dotson gets his minutes. But if Tim Hardaway go, Dotson's got to be our starting shooting guard, and I think that he's going to perform at a real high level at that spot because of his defense. So that's just me. I wanted to make sure I get that in before we got out of here. I'm going to make sure I subscribe to everybody. Ness, thank you all for the chat. I appreciate it, and I've been reading all of the comments up here, man. Some people got to get off of this, the value of the players and what we're trying to do. Y'all got to understand what the point of it all. It's the point of it all.
Yeah. Rube, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot for the call, man.
Yeah, and just something he said. Peace. Two things. One, don't forget Lance Thomas is only guaranteed for $1 million next year.
Yeah, that's the easiest.
So I think he'll actually
hold on, caller. Go ahead, Macri, finish.
I think just quick. I think they'll waive him and then maybe try to bring him back on like a vet minimum. But the thing about Frank, and that gets lost a lot in the discussion about is he a point guard, is he not a point guard? If you have that length and that wingspan at the one, and then you could trickle it down from there, I mean, that allows you to do some things defensively that are just out of this world. And that's why I think it's intriguing to add a guy like Hazonia to the team, because okay, maybe Frank's not, he doesn't have the handle, he doesn't have the ability to penetrate the lane of your, best ones in the league. But if you got a guy elsewhere on the court who could kind of serve as another, maybe not a primary ball handler, but someone who can kind of run the pick and roll, do those sorts of things. And I think Hazonia is an interesting fit there. And Trier, too, again, getting ahead of ourselves, is a guy who, who knows what he's going to give this year. There's a reason he wasn't drafted. But that's another possibility to try. But all goes to say, try to get more of these guys who could do different things on the court.
Multi-versatile.
Exactly.
Positionless basketball.
Exactly. So if you play Frank at the 1, it's not like you're relying him on to do all the things that point guards traditionally do. You could get it from other places on the floor.
True indeed. We got a call in. Yo, 917.
Hello.
What's up, bro? You on, man? Where you from, man? Who's this?
How you doing? This is Omar from Shaolin.
Omar, Shaolin.
Omar from my hometown.
Yeah. We in New York. I mean, don't forget us. Don't forget us out here. We still here.
The Republic,
New York,
the Republic of Staten Island, folks. In the building.
Wu-Tang forever. We up here.
Wu-Tang forever, man. Of course.
Yeah, man.
Of course, man. Can't forget our history, man. What's going on?
Yeah, I hear you thought you talking about Robinson. I like him. I like the dude. I mean, staying on a fast break, I could just see him flying because he could run too. Mm-hmm. What really got me was the interview. How he was, like, with the lip to the side. I thought maybe he was a little foo-foo for a minute, but I hope he could run the plays like how they play them out. Like, I hope he could run plays and he's good on the court as far as following. What everybody's doing. That's the only thing I can see. He could be a problem. Mm-hmm. And like you were saying, he hasn't been playing in college, or he took that year off.
Right.
So I'm kind of worried about that.
Hey.
I wanted to chime in real quick on that. It is just because, like, a lot of times perceptions of guys, like, I'm an NBA historian. Moses Malone, if you put Moses Malone, a microphone in front of him, that dude, sounded like he belonged in kindergarten. But no, I mean, they called him Mumbles Malone.
Yeah, they did.
Most of his career. Meanwhile, that was a guy who knew where he needed to be on a basketball floor at all times. There's a reason that, he won 3 MVPs. So I think sometimes when we take, how a player sounds at a press conference, or when there's a bunch of microphones in his face, and draw conclusions from that, let's not go too far with that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think he's had a lot of time being in front of the cameras too, considering he wasn't in any college, and he hasn't done like a lot of interviews. So I would think New York media, you might be a little bit spooked, just a little bit.
Yeah, man. Yo, appreciate the call, man. Just definitely trying to get some more callers in, but definitely thanks for the support, and keep calling.
Nice, man. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, real quick.
Right. I'm still there?
Yeah, still here.
Yeah, wait.
Oh, yeah, Frank. Like, I'm getting a lot of hate about Frank. Like, I was on the bus the other day. Even the bus driver was like, "Oh, I don't know about Frank." I'm like, "Listen." And I heard the interview with Fitz, like the coach, and how I heard the interview with the coach, and he was saying he's going to make him aggressive, which I really like. So I'm waiting for him to come out his shell as far as, I know he want to pass. I know he want to get everybody together in the system. But he needs to be aggressive and a scorer, and he needs to attack them now. It's his turn to shine. I mean, I want to see that. I want to see everybody, all the haters, so I can see, like, what? See? You see? He can't shoot. He can't play. Like, he is offensive.
Hey.
And I think being aggressive will open up the floor even more for him, even though he knows how to play on the floor. He's intelligent as far as he sees the court. He really does see the court. And he plays defense. Like, come on. If he comes aggressive, I would love it.
True indeed.
I would love it. So the coach he's on point with that. I really like what he said.
I got you, man. All right, let me plug this next call in. Thanks for the call, bro. All right, we got another call from New York. Yo.
I really like what he said.
It's great.
What's good, Greg? Just turn your volume down a little bit.
All right, I got you.
All right, man. Greg, where you from, Greg? Don't tell me you're from Brooklyn, too, man. Break the curse.
Don't do that. Don't do that, CP.
All right, where you from, you say?
Brooklyn.
Okay, shout out to Brooklyn once again. All right, yo, Greg, you got to turn your volume all the way down. All the way down, man. All right, guy, what's your point? All right, yo, Greg, I gotta let you go, man. Yo, when you guys call up, you gotta turn your volume all the way down, man. We can't hear the feedback of ourselves. We like to hear ourselves talk, but not that much. Just turn it all the way down, man. All right, we got another one, 917. What's going on?
Oh shit, I made it on.
You made it on, brother. Who's this? Where you from, man?
How you doing, man? I'm Manny. I'm from New York City.
Manny, what's going on? NYC, man. What's up?
You know it, man. No, I was just, I know I'm at work right now, so I don't know if I got a little lag. We were talking about Frank Ntilikina, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And I just got to say, everybody that's hating on this kid has to, I don't know, go back and look at some tape. Because in the French League, 16 years old, he had a what? Maybe 42% clip from three?
Yeah, man.
He could shoot it.
Right? He could shoot it. I don't know if anybody saw the pictures of him working out. This kid is
He's working, man. He's working. Fizdale's got him working. Chris Brickley's got him working. I'm not worried about that.
The EuroLeague MVP video is dope, too.
The mentality this guy has to stand in front of LeBron and push him away, not scared of LeBron, that's what we need. We need people like that. That grit back in the Garden with KP. You put all these youngins in there. Let them freaking play. Let them play and grind it out. And it's not us. What's it called? Slumping or fucking looking for a top seat. Nah, man. Let them play. Put them minutes in. Fucking grind, and have these guys grow some fucking nuts over here and make New York what it's supposed to be again.
I hear you, man. Greg, I gotta get some more calls in, but thanks a lot for the call, man.
And just,
all right, man. No, thank you.
All right.
Quick on Frank, I gotta say, we forget sometimes he did not come up through the AAU system like all the kids do come up here,
right?
And he did not have that mentality. It's a very
mentality.
Yeah, man.
So it's obviously it was going to take a little time for him to show that aggressiveness. That's why I'm excited to see him this year.
Yeah, I agree, man. Let's give him some time. I'm excited. Obviously the defense is there. Fizdale talked a lot this week about getting them to be more aggressive, and he spoke about how they used to watch film and he would just show Frank times where he was just passing it just to pass, but with no real intention. And instead, if he just goes for a breakdown the defense, he has wide open lanes into the hole, the assist will come. But we got a call from the Bronx. Jay Macri, how you doing on time, man? Because we probably got to wrap up.
You got me for like 2-3 more minutes.
Okay, all right. Last call for Jay Macri, and then we'll wind down. Caller from the Bronx, what's going on? Hello? All right, once, twice. All right. We got Tucson, Arizona calling in.
Oh.
Yo.
What's going on? This is Jeremy. Tucson, Arizona, originally from Yonkers, New York.
Okay, Yonkers by way. Okay, what's going on, bro?
Well, I got to see the Allonzo trailer firsthand out in Tucson.
Okay.
The only reason he didn't get drafted, he had that PED charge in September.
Yeah, so he said
he could definitely score.
He said he got into a car accident, and he said they had him taken. He got bagged for Ostarine, which is a banned substance, but he won the 2 appeals. He got caught twice and won both appeals. So, I think he's gonna come to Summer League with a chip on his shoulder.
And they got a long history of that money under the table out in Arizona Wildcats, but he's definitely a scorer.
All right, yeah, man. Looking forward to seeing Trier, man. You gotta get some more calls through, but definitely thanks for the call, man.
Yeah, peace out, people. Be easy.
Thanks a lot, man. Take it easy.
Thank you. And just on Trier, if you listen to the way Fizz talk about him in the interview he gave, I think it's a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell Fizz thinks this kid's going to be able to come in and put the ball in the basket.
I kind of feel like that's the future Timmy replacement when we're talking about really talking about like moving pieces later on.
Yeah.
And where's the scoring going to come from? I think we can look. I'm jumping the gun. But it's just a possibility.
But at the same time, people who make the argument for just get rid of Tim and get rid of his salary, that right there is the argument. There are other guys out there who could play the two and who could give you buckets, maybe at not the most efficient clip. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if Timmy's not going to bring plus defense, then really, what are you losing to get rid of him? So that's the argument for people who want to get rid of him.
I think what intrigues me about him too is how efficient he was in college.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's shooting like around 50% and 38 from three.
Yeah, 50%. Yeah, 38 from three as well. Yep.
So if he brings that to the NBA, I'm not sure how well it's going to translate to the NBA game, but it's a good sign coming out the gate.
Let's see, man. All right, last call. 917. What's going on, bro? Hello. Yeah, you there?
Yeah. Yeah, what's going on, man? Just want to make it real quick.
Okay.
And y'all know I got the grill going on.
Oh, you got the grill? You cooking? What you making? What you
I'm ready for 5:30. I'm ready.
Yo, we might pull up, man. Where you?
Refrigerator.
Where you at, bro?
Man, I got the. Yo, I'm in Maywood, New Jersey. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
The first caller from Brooklyn is not from Brooklyn Grill.
I'm happy though to see about 4 Knicks players today. About time we got some talent on this team.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, man, I think this Robinson dude is going to be the steal of the draft. I just really feel that way. I'm really looking forward to this dude, and I think I'll highlight somebody today and body bag somebody. Call it Robinson body bagging somebody. Remember I said that. Somebody get body bagged tonight.
Let's get it, man. Let's get it, man.
Y'all fellas enjoy you out there, Great show, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Please keep calling, man, and enjoy the party, man. I'm coming through next time, though, bro. I might pull up on you. Bro.
All right, cool. All
right, take it easy, man.
I'm gonna be thinking body. If he bangs on somebody today, I'm gonna be thinking body back in my head.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. 5:30 showtime. But I got a hard stop at 2:00. I gotta go to IKEA with the wife. If I don't make it, I might not make it to the next live stream. So.
Okay, we need you here, bro.
Yeah. So with that being said, it was a good show, man. Definitely good show.
I want to thank you guys for having me on, man. This was a lot of fun.
Jay Macri, man, I'm going to throw it onto your screen. Go ahead and plug all your outlets. Where can they find you? Go ahead, man.
Yeah, no, anybody out there, if you're not following me, it's JC Macri, NBA. That's my Twitter handle, JC Macri, NBA.
Really good Twitter follow.
Yeah, man.
I appreciate that. I definitely like talking to the Knicks fans because you know what? I'll end on this. Yeah, and definitely follow me at the Knicks Wall. I'll have stuff coming up on there throughout the summer. Very excited. I have gotten a lot of shit at times because people say, you know what? You're too optimistic. You're too pro Knicks. You're too positive about it. Listen, I will call out the organization for any time they do something stupid, for any time they do something short-sighted, for any time they do something that just, 25 other teams in the league look at and say, what the hell are the Knicks doing? For me, ever since Scott Perry came aboard, things have been going in the right direction. So I am I'm not going to hide my excitement because I feel like they actually have a plan in place. They're going to stick to the plan. This is the first time I can remember getting ready to watch a summer league game and go, man, there are 6 or 7 guys here who might be real, honest to God, NBA players.
Yeah.
And NBA players who could fit with the modern game. Luke Cornett shooting threes. He could hang with guys on the perimeter on defense. Mitchell Robinson doing crazy things with his handle and this and that. Kevin Knox being able to slide up to the 3, down to the 5, maybe in some small ball lineups. Just lots of good things going on. The player acquisition that they're doing shows that they have a clear philosophy, drafting high upside guys. They hired a coach, who's ready to take these guys that have potential and really turn them into something better than what they are. Definitely, if you're not following me, give me a follow. But I'm excited for the game, excited for the rest of the Summer League games. And again, thank you guys for having me on.
Yo, man. Hopefully it won't be the last time, man. Thanks for coming.
Definitely will.
Jay Ellis, over to you, man. Swing it, plug to the podcast.
Yeah, as always, soundcloud.com/snickertimeshow for the podcast. We will be recording Sunday, coming out Tuesday. Hopefully nothing crazy happens between Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/snickertimeshow. And yeah, follow these guys, man. Follow Jonathan and Knicks Film School too.
Absolutely, man.
One of my favorite
Shout out to the Knicks Film School. He's my man.
Oh yeah, Knicks Film School is a beast, man. Yo, you know where I'm at. You know what it is, man. CP KnicksFanTV in the building. Shout out to everybody that came through today. We had a real busy one. I was trying to get to the chat to salute everybody in the chat. I didn't get a chance to. I'll shout out some people in a bit. But two things. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your fellow Knicks fan. The more people that we get in here, the better it's going to be, the better the interactions are. And we're going to continue to get some more distinguished guests for the third screen. Salute my man, Jonathan Macri, for definitely coming through. And I have a feeling we're going to get KP one of these days.
KP's
man.
coming from Lafayette, I'm telling you, man.
I just feel like we're on such a good roll. We're on such a good roll. Yo, Janice, you see the number in the bottom left, man. Just call me up. We can work something out. Have your people call my people, man. We going to get the big man next, man. I feel like we trending that way, bro.
Coming.
Absolutely, man. But yo, real quick shout out Nick D, Buckets Got Sense, Delano Steele's always in here, Biggs, Clash Man, salute, Nick M, salute, Nothing But Nick, Simeon was in here, salute, Jarrell Williams, Carlos, Omar, Arroyo, a lot of Puerto Rico's been in here heavy as well, man. Richard Rowe always here, Michael Parker, Vaughn Allen, Vibert Viper, Nevi Paca. Salute, man. Eddie Rolden, Ed Santana, thanks a lot. James Brooks, thanks a lot. Troy Fletch, always in here. Yeah, man. That's what
Wilson,
it is. So
Wilson R. Serena, Gary Miller.
How about Facebook?
Even Facebook and Periscope is popping today, man.
Okay. So salute to everybody on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, YouTube. Thanks a lot. You guys enjoy your weekend. Be safe. And yeah, man, we'll catch up with you guys next time. 5:30, Knicks and Hawks. Ntilikina versus Trae Young. Let's go.
Let's get it. Lock them down.
I think if it's not on MSG, if you're out of town, probably NBA TV should probably have it more than likely. So
I think it's ESPN tonight. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, ESPN. Okay.
Yeah,
all right,
I'm graphic about it. It's ESPN.
All right, correction. ESPN. Ace Bezel, I see you. Yeah. Enjoy the game, man. We'll get back to you. Peace.
Be well, guys.